All right, so here we go. Starting again, this is Allie Phillips, and we are going to be talking about understanding the color personalities to help you grow your business. So my name is Allie Phillips, and the information that I'm going to talk about in this presentation is really not intended to put you all into a color category. No one person is going to fit perfectly into one category, and this information is really intended to help you understand yourself better and work with your team better. And while I am going to be talking primarily about those who are building a Young Living essential oil business, this can benefit anyone who is building a network marketing or direct selling business, or anyone who works in a traditional standard business where you have coworkers and employees and teams that you work with. So you can certainly translate that to whatever is beneficial for you. And so just a little bit about me. I am a former prosecuting attorney. I have been an attorney in the criminal justice field for about 24 years, and I've spent the last 15 years as a legal educator. I teach law enforcement and prosecutors. I specialize in family violence and how it links to animal abuse. And because of my work, I have won several awards for my work in animal protection, for the books that I have authored. I'm an advocate for animals. I've been a lobbyist. I still am a lobbyist. But I'm also multi-careered because I own a business called Manifested Harmony, which is a wellness business focusing on energy healing and essential oils to benefit both people and pets. Helping pets with natural methods is really my specialty. So as we go through this, I'm going to tell you what my colors are, but you probably already guess if you've done this before. So I have really jumped in to what Jacob Adamo has created. And if you haven't read his books, I highly recommend that you get them. He is awesome. And certainly he is the master of all of this. But I've added some of my own personal opinion to some of this, as you will see as we go through it. But, there's a lot of personality tests out there, and some are complicated, like Myers-Briggs, and some are just too simplistic. And this color test is a simple test that I have found is surprisingly accurate if you understand it. So if you're familiar with the DISC system, it's similar to that. And it also has similarities to Gretchen Rubin's 4 Expectations, if you've not checked that out. So I would encourage you to do that too. Well, what this does is it can help you understand and communicate more effectively with your team, whether they're product users or they're business builders. And it can also help you understand yourself better so that you can avoid the pitfalls of what's called the troublesome color traits, and help you work with those in your team who have the troublesome color traits. So, there's so many personality tests online. Heck, you can figure out what your Harry Potter Patronus is, or your unicorn name, or whatever. And those are based on fun, not on facts. This has actually got a lot of great research behind it, which I'm not going to go into. You can get the books. But what is interesting to me is that we now live in a culture where personality issues are actually used as reasons and justifications for why we are not changing something about ourselves. People will say, well, this is just the way I am. But your personality is actually not a mistake. You just need to know how to effectively maximize your strengths, as well as work on the weaknesses. So have you all taken your test? So those of you who are live on this call, post me something in the chat if you have taken your personality quiz. And if you haven't, it's really easy. It's only going to take you a couple of minutes. And that's the URL to do it. So certainly go ahead and post it. But if you're willing to post your color in the chat, I would just love to know what your colors are. So, all right, here. Michelle, I don't mean to laugh at you, but yes, sweet pea, you are green. You are my green sister. So, Dale, yes, Dale, you are definitely a yellow. So as the rest of those come in, ooh, Tammy, you are really yellow. Look at you. Look at you. So as those come in, so if you already didn't figure out from the intro, I'm red. I am red, 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 red. But boy, do I have a lot of blue in me too, which really surprised me because, okay, I'm just going to say this. I actually have to schedule in fun into my calendar because I'm multi-careered and I tend to work 15-hour days. I mean, it's 4 p.m. on a Saturday and I'm doing a webinar for you guys because I love my work. So I'm very, very, very red, but I schedule in fun, which is why I did score high on blue. And I found it fascinating that my yellow is so low because I am a healer by nature, but boy, does red take over. Let's see. Oh, Margaret's green. Look at that. Oh, thank you guys for sharing your colors. I think that's fascinating. I'm really fascinated by this. So in the color personality are the 3 T's. And within each color, your primary color, you can either be troublesome, typical, or true. Now, the troublesome parts of a personality are the dark side. I mean, it's the side that we know is not healthy and is not productive. We kind of beat ourselves up about it, like, oh, I shouldn't be like this. That's the troublesome side that we can work on. The typical side is where a lot of people are. This is middle of the road. You know, you're really truly settling in to this personality. And the true personality is what we all should be aiming for. It is the best parts of us. It's about growing into the trueness of your primary color. And it's also about growing into selflessness and giving more than you're getting. And yes, as a red, you can do that. So it's about owning your own color and don't let it own you. So don't use it as an excuse for why you're not doing something or for why you are doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. So let's get into, it's called the Color Master Keys. And each personality has their own traits about them. And within each color, they have what's called a master question that drives them. So I'm a red. I am red, 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 red. And the master question for reds is what? What do I need to do? What's the goal? What's the aim? What's left to be accomplished? Now, reds are very optimistic by nature. They see challenges and they're going to bust through them. They see obstacles and they want to know how high they're going to jump over it because they just set it as a challenge. You know, reds are truly like the bull, and you wave the red flag, they're coming at it. So you put a goal in front of them, they are going to go for it. They are fast decision makers, so they're power decision makers. And when they make decisions, it's about how can this decision get me to my goal faster? How can it get me ahead? You know, in the Young Living world, how can it get me to a rank? How can it get my team ahead? You know, reds like to take people with them. I joke as a red that not only will I handle my to-do list, I'll take care of yours. Reds are the people that say, you know what, just let me do it. I can do it faster. And we all know these people, right? And for those of you who know me, yeah, I'm that person. I am that person. So reds are power decision makers, very fast decision makers. Now, when we look to the troublesome reds, these are the people who are egocentric. It is all about them. They want the glory, even if they didn't earn it. They want to be praised, even if they didn't earn it. And it's because they're insecure. We also find that troublesome reds are sociopaths. They also have shifting morals, where one day this is not okay, but the next day it is. It's based on their ego and whatever is beneficial for them. They really don't care about other people. It is all about them. Nobody loves them more than them. So these are people who can engage in verbal abuse, and they may say things to you like, but I'm saying this to you for your own good, or I'm just speaking my truth. That is like one of my big pet peeves, is when people say I'm speaking my truth, and they're mean-spirited about it, because that's not truth. The truth is never mean. But these are people who are very entitled. And as I say this, y'all are probably getting the image of somebody that you know, or somebody who is popular or famous who fits into this category. Now let's go to the typical. So the typical red is optimistic. They're confident. They love challenges, and they are overachievers. You give them a goal, they're going to smash it and go to the next one. They are quick decision makers. They do love praise, though they don't necessarily do things for praise. But if praise is being handed out, you better darn well give them praise if they have earned it. Typical reds are also the type to say, when they're questioned about something, they may say, just do it. Just trust me, or, because I said so. Reds don't have time to explain. And I even find myself saying this when it comes to trying a new product. I'll just say to people, just trust me and get it. Just trust me. And it's because reds are leaders, and they're not going to lead people wrong when they're in their typical shade. Now let's step it up to true, because true is where we want to be. True reds are ethical winners. These are the people that even if they achieve something within a team, they're going to let the team take the credit, and they're going to step back. They will praise people for being a part of something, even if the red personality did most of the work. They don't need the approval of others. They are very secure. They have a very solid self-image. They are very self-assured. They're also very aware of others around them and acknowledge them, because they don't need acknowledgement. They send it out to others. And what is interesting is I feel that when a person is in their true red, they can make super fast power decisions that are always 100% right, because they trust their intuition. These are intuitive thinkers, and when they trust their intuition and those gut instincts, they are always, always, always right. So if you know a red in your life, or in your work, or in your Young Living business, and if they make a snap decision and they're saying things like, just trust me, this feels right, let's go for it, you hop on that bandwagon with them, because they are not wrong. That's the one thing I know about reds, is when they can be intuitive in their decision making, get on board with them. And my personal opinion is that the motto of a red is just do it. Just do it. I even catch myself saying that to my team all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, just do it. Just do it. It's annoying. I know it is. And many of my team are on this webinar. But this is how reds think, because what is our master question? What do we need to do? Just do it. All right, let's go to blue. The blues, these are your fun people. The blues master question is why? Why should I do this? Why should I do it? Because if it's not fun, they're not going to do it. Blues are optimistic. These are your fun-loving people. And so when it comes to decisions, they make fun decisions. How can I have fun and have a business? Because if it's not fun, they're not interested. If it's got a bunch of checklists and to-do lists, that's not fun. That's green, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So when we're looking at the blues and the troublesome part of the blues are unreliable. They say they're going to do something and they don't. That drives reds bananas. The blues that are troublesome take action without thought. That makes the greens go crazy. The troublesome blues are not on time. They don't follow through. They're living in the moment. So at that moment, if they know they have a deadline due, but they're doing something fun, they are so wrapped up in that joy that they forget about their to-do list and the task at hand. They are pleasing themselves first and really enjoying the moment. They are seizing the day. That's what a troublesome blue does, to the exclusion of all else. Now, a typical blue is spontaneous. They are fun-loving. These are the people that go to a party and people flock to them because they are charismatic. You just want to be around them because they bring out the fun-loving part of you. These are adventurous people. They got a good, clean sense of humor. They are the center of attention. So they are like the bright light in the middle of a room. So blues are really good to have in your business because you can shine a spotlight on them. And if they are typical blue, let them shine because they're going to draw people in like a moth to a flame. And then for the blues who can really work on being a true blue, they are actually very mindful of other people's time. Don't get me wrong, they love their fun, but not in a selfish way. They are very aware of people around them, so they're mindful of time. They're very considerate of their actions and how it impacts other people. They're energetic, they are charismatic, they are caring, they inspire others around them. I mean, these are the people that when you listen to them in a conference or a webinar, you are so fired up, you're like, yeah, I can do this. You may not be able to sustain that feeling, but a true blue can. So true blues are really good to lock arms with and partner with. And their motto is girls just want to have fun. Because if they can make their business fun, they're going to go a long way. All right, let's go to the greens. All right, the greens, these are your researchers. These are the people that want to research and study. Their master question is how. So in the essential oil world, how do the oils work? Really? How do they work? How do they work when we smell them? How do they work when we topically apply them? How do they work when we ingest them? What's the difference? Give me the science. I want to know all about sesquiterpenes and monoterpenes and I'll tell you, the blues, their eyes go cross-eyed. They're like, oh my gosh, who cares? They just work. But the greens, they want to know. They want to know this. They want to be the mad scientists. So greens tend to be pessimistic by nature until they find the answer. And once they find the answer, they are believers. So these are the people that I like to call the devil's advocate. That they're going to say, you know what? I don't believe that until you prove it to me. I don't believe that until I find the answer. The greens want to find the answer themselves. They may listen to you and listen to where you're telling them to go to find the information. They're going to be pessimistic until they prove themselves otherwise. Now, greens tend to be slow decision makers because they're thoughtful in their decisions. They are the researchers. They don't want to be rushed into a decision. So you'll know this if you are talking to somebody about getting started with essential oils. They really need to think about it. If you rush a green, they are going to shut down on you and say no. But once they come to the decision, let them run with it, because they'll run with it. You just let them run. Now let's talk about a troublesome green. Troublesome greens get stuck in analysis paralysis. They are the proverbial dog chasing the tail. They cannot get out of this thought loop. And they are going to analyze something to the point of no action. They just can't get themselves to get going in using the oils, get going in sharing about the oils, or even building a business. Greens tend to not do things by faith, especially in the troublesome category. They are unforgiving. So if they are given bad information, you are cut off. You will no longer be a person that they trust. It's going to be very hard to get their trust back. They are skeptical. but they expect perfection from themselves and others around them. And a troublesome green must win every argument. They just must. They're going to have the last word. Now, a typical green is highly analytical. They are problem solvers. They want a detailed plan. These are your checklist people. Now, I'll tell you, I got a fair amount of green in me. I love checking off my list every day. That's what greens like to do. They like to make well-informed decisions. They are very realistic. It is fact over opinion. It is research over emotion. And they pursue perfection in themselves, but as well as in others. And they can remain very emotionally detached. So, for example, in Young Living, they are not going to play upon the emotions of people to get them interested in the oils. They're going to want to talk about research. They're going to want to talk about the difference in the sesquiterpenes in frankincense versus sacred frankincense. That's what they're going to want to do. So let's go to a true green. A true green is very thoughtful in how they're making decisions. They're not stuck in analysis paralysis. They will pull the trigger and they will make a decision, but they're very thoughtful. They will solve problems. They're going to stand very firm on principles. So these are the people that you want to go to in your team when you have a problem to solve. Go to them, ask them for their help, because a true green, a typical green as well, they love to be seen as experts. Call upon them for help. Ask them for their advice. They will feel like $1,000,000. That's how you can really capitalize on their greenness. And their motto is prove it. Prove it. Prove it to me, or better yet, let me prove it to myself. All right, now let's go to the yellows. The yellows, these are the people who are pulling people together. The yellow master question is who? Who can I bless? Who can I help? Who needs my help? Who wants a hug? Who wants to come together and have a party? Who wants a class? Who wants to work with me? Who wants to be in my tribe? Now, yellows tend to be on the pessimistic side because of a lot of reasons, but they see the problems in the world and they feel overwhelmed because they can't even begin to handle it all. They want everything to be happy and healthy and well, and everybody is balanced. And well, that's not our world. And so they can feel very overwhelmed because more often than not, they feel like they have a huge tribe that they need to take care of, and they just can't even wrap their brain around, how am I going to do that? Because they're very individual. These are the people who look you very deeply in the eye and they have conversations. They start a conversation with, how are you? Whereas a red, when you sit down with them, they'll say, okay, let's get down to business. And the blues will sit down and say, so what fun thing did you do yesterday? But the yellows sit down and they want to know, how are you? Like, really, how are you? Don't just say fine. Like, tell me how you are. So they can feel very overwhelmed by that. And yellows are the mothers that worry, even if they don't have children. They worry about everyone and they want to make it all right. So when it comes to making decisions, they're going to do it based on how they feel. These are your feeling decision makers. If it doesn't feel right, they're not going to do it. They're not going to move. They're going to shut down. They're going to go into their blanket fort until they feel better. They tend to shut down more than others because it's very feelings-based what they're doing. Now, when we look at the troublesome yellows, these people tend to be emotionally insecure. They are avoiding conflict at all cost. Even if addressing the conflict is in the best interest of everybody, they don't want to deal with it. So they will bottle up their emotions until it gets to the point where they blow. And when they blow, they feel bad. Because that's not what a yellow does. A yellow takes care of everybody. They don't blow. So yellows in the troublesome category can also be manipulative. They will use their emotional state or an issue as a reason for not doing something. A troublesome yellow can be gullible, And a troublesome yellow lacks motivation. They're just not going to get going. They're not even going to get the engine started. So they're a lot of all talk and no action, and they just can't seem to get going. These are also the people who give away a ton of samples and they go broke. Because they're just giving. They give, and they violate the universal laws of equal give and take. They just want to give. They want to make people feel better. And it really starts to wear on them because people are not resonating with that. They're not joining them in this. Now, a typical yellow is friendly. They're loyal. They're honest. You know, they're people that you want to hang out with because, you know, they're fun to, you know, they're good to hang out with. They have a good energy. They thrive on team activities. They desperately want their own team. They want their own people. But they're not materialistic. So in Young Living, when it comes to a rank or a commission check or an incentive, they're like, who cares? I want my team. I want a team. I want friends. These are the people who will make friends within Young Living more than anyone else. And then a true yellow, they know that money in the hands of good people does good things. So they kind of get over that whole rank, commission, I don't need it. And they realize if I get to a certain rank and I get a certain commission check, oh my word, the things that I can do with that money, it's going to change the world. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning, how they feel overwhelmed because there's so many problems in the world that they just want to go and hide because it's like, I can't even begin to tackle this. I'm going to go hide in my blanket for it. And sometimes I'll joke about that because I have enough yellow in me that when I get overwhelmed, I'll post on Facebook, everybody, I'm checking out. I'm going into my blanket fort with my cats, my crystals, my essential oils, and my Hallmark movies. I'll be back in 24 hours because I've got to deal with that. And that's a true yellow realizes, you know what? I can do really good things with my business. They're the type that are going to set up nonprofits. They're going to give most of their commission check to a cause that they care about. These are, you know, the people who they want to earn the Young Living retreats because they want to go spend that day in Ecuador on the Platinum Retreat, working in the village and working in the school. You know, these are people who they're very emotionally secure. So they're not the manipulative yellow that's in the troublesome color. They're emotionally secure. They are empathetic without being overly sympathetic. So they're not on an emotional roller coaster. They can give tough love when it's needed. And they're natural peacemakers, which makes them excellent team members. Because when you're dealing with a group of people, stuff's going to happen. The troublesome parts of people will come out. Call on your true yellows. Help your yellows get to their true state. Because then when a problem happens, you can call on them and say, can you go make peace and get everybody back on track? I have found that yellows are the highest percentage when it comes to Young Living. And it's because I've been to a couple of conferences where they've polled the audience and more than half the people are yellows. So if you're a yellow and you're in Young Living, you're in a good place. And so with the yellows, their motto is, how can I help you? How can I help the world? That's what they want to do. So this is a nice little chart, and y'all can find this online, but this was in Jacob Adamo's book. And I thought, I mean, it's got a lot of moving parts on it, but it really gives you a snapshot of what the colors are and what they do. You know, the reds and the greens are left brain, which is very analytical. They think a lot. The blues and the yellows, these are your emotional people. They're being driven by emotions. The red and the blues are optimistic. They're forward thinking, whereas the greens and the yellows tend to be looking in the rearview mirror too much and tend to be a little more pessimistic unless they are proven otherwise. So this is just a great snapshot to have. If y'all want to take a screenshot of it right now, you can, or you can just, I'm sure you can Google it and find it. So let's break it down even more. I tell you, I'm just fascinated by this stuff. Are you guys fascinated? by it? Is it ringing true so far? Type me something in the comments. I see some of you are saying, yes, this is me. So, Karen, I am so yellow, it's scary. You guys are cracking me up. All right, let's get into faith by color. Now, when I talk about faith, faith is a firm belief in something for which there's no proof. So this is not religious. I'm not talking about religious faith. It can be a religious faith, or it can just be faith where you just believe, even though there's no proof for what you're believing in. Colors handle faith in different ways. And a lot of success in business, especially in a young living business, comes from faith. So with reds, their faith is force of momentum. Okay, they are going to drive that bus. They're going to put the pedal to the metal because they are fact-oriented, they are optimistic, they're going to have victory at all odds. Okay, challenges, obstacles, they don't care. That's why humans know how to jump, okay, because we're going to jump over it. Success to them is measured by action, but they rely on their sheer strength rather than on faith to get things done. And I'm waiting for Michelle to type a comment because we just had this conversation. So reds, they're gonna push that bus forward rather than rely on faith or source energy or whatever your universal divine source is. That's what reds do. They force the momentum. And for those on my team, you all know this. This is what I do. Now the blues, their faith is positive affirmation. Victory is going to come from a positive belief and a trust in a higher power. So I got a lot of blue in me. And I do. I just have a positive belief that it's all going to work out, and it always does. So they're very optimistic. They believe that everything will magically work out. But blues tend to fly by the seat of their pants. They are not as action-oriented as they should be. The blues are the ones that will say things like, I am speaking life into my business rather than death. Because to speak life is to speak success into your business. So they are all about positive words, not putting up resistance, and using positive affirmations as a way of faith to build their business. Greens, their faith is realistic expectations and belief. So they are fact-oriented. We know that they're pessimistic until they prove themselves otherwise. They hope for the best but prepare for the worst. They work in probabilities, and their attention to details actually robs them of the journey. And so they don't necessarily enjoy the journey. It's a little more arduous for them. And for them, prayer and faith is a discipline for them. So it's something that they're going to check off their list. Did I pray today? Did I have faith today? Did I engage in gratitude today? It's a checklist in their brain. But they have very realistic expectations. So even though they can have faith, they're preparing for the worst. So these are the people who right now are either physically or energetically building bomb shelters. They are preparing for something to go wrong, but hoping that everything's going to work out. Yellows, on the other hand, their faith is in genuine relationships and respect. So yellows are all about feeling. Now they tend to be pessimistic until they feel otherwise. And without positive signs that they're on the right path, they will lack progress. So they struggle with the faith and the belief. So when a red or a blue is saying to them, you need to speak life into your business. You just need to believe that it's going to happen. Just believe it's all going to work out. The yellows are shaking their head like, what are you talking about? Because until they see it, they have a hard time believing it. Whereas the reds and the blues, they believe it before they see it. So without positive signs that they're on the right path, they're going to have trouble with progress. But to them, Success is in proportion to their humility on this path. The more humility they have, the better they feel when it comes to faith. All right, let's get into fun stuff, like difficulties with your team. I know none of you have had that. I'm laughing hysterically here. So the bigger your team is, the bigger the problems are going to get. So let's talk about product users, okay? So, and I'll tell you, this stuff fascinates me. I just get all geeky about this. So when it comes to product users, are they influenced to use the products, or are they informed? Because when people are informed, they make a decision that is best for them, and it's going to result in a better product user for you. These are the people that are on Essential Rewards. When people are influenced, especially when they are signing up, they make a decision based on belief and desire of another, like you. You are influencing them. So they are making the decision based on your belief and your desire. And as a result, they don't have the sustainability because the decision wasn't theirs to begin with. So you know who these people are. We call them the one-kit wonders. So if these are going to be good product users who really understand and feel the benefits of the products, you're going to have to influence them every single month. And I will tell you, you're going to get exhausted if you already aren't. So it's easy to influence, but it's exhausting in the long run. So type in the chat if you have ever, or if you are feeling exhausted. Because if you are doing too much influencing and not enough informing. So for example, this is why incentives don't work for a lot of people, because you're trying to influence them rather than inform them. So how many times have you offered a starter kit incentive? Personally, I have found that they really don't work, but when they do work, has the person really dove into the products? I mean, that's only something that you can answer. Sometimes the best incentives are once they get on Essential Rewards, because they've been informed about the benefits and they make the decision. So think about it like this. If someone is stuck, they're not ordering, they're not on Essential Rewards, they're a one-kit wonder, move from influence to information so that they make the desire, or they make the change on their own. It's their desire to change. It's their desire to improve their health and wellness. It's their desire to do it. It's not yours. It's not you being, if you're blue, the charismatic you, getting them all wrapped up in the fun and the emotion, like, yeah, you can do this. And then they get home and they're like, what did I just do? What the heck is this box all about? So move more to information. So when we break it down into the colors, and this is where, when you know enough about the colors, you can try to do a quick assessment of somebody that you just met or somebody that you're talking to see what color they are so that you know how to address them. If you are meeting with somebody who's a red, they need information. They're not going to be influenced. They're going to look at you like, really? They're just going to laugh. The speakers who are jumping up and down, rah, 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 getting people to chant, the reds are rolling their eyes. They're like, come on, get to the point. Give me the information. The blues are influencers. They can be influenced if you tie it to fun. The greens want to be informed. Don't try to influence a green, because not only will they not get on board, but they will never return your call again, because they're like, really, that's not what give me the information. But at the same point, yellows, they respond very well to influence. They will actually follow a strong leader's advice. So like a very true red that says, trust me, do this. And they will follow. They like that influence because they're emotional. They are emotional, feeling decision makers. And so if you have a good leader, You can influence them. And then once they're going along, they're like, oh, now I get it. Now I'm feeling the benefits. And then they come to their own conclusion. Let's talk about builders, okay? So this is going to be fun. I want to see how you all talk about this in the chat. So when builders are stuck, and you know how to help them and know how to deter them from sitting in the quicksand, your team is going to grow faster and bigger because you're going to be helping them more. So here's the thing. If you have reds in your team, so this is not what you are, this is what they are. This is why you should have everyone in your team, whether they're a product user or a builder, have them take this test. It's kind of fun. If you have reds who are builders, you got to give them tools. But don't give them any tools. Give them tools from people who are successful. Reds are not going to follow unsuccessful people. They're just not. Give them the tools of the successful people. Give them the tools of other reds and let them loose. Just set them loose. Let them run. Because if you try to rein them in, they're going to break that chain. So let them loose. But make sure that they don't over-inform. Reds, when they are building and they teach, they over-inform. You guys are getting it right now. This is what I do because I got a captive audience and I'm going to give you everything that I can on this. This is what a red does. But you need to make sure with the reds that they have a good tool, because if they have a good tool to work with, they are going to self-motivate with classes and webinars and expos. They're going to go after the big fish. They're going to go after businesses. They're going to go after a hospital, a veterinary clinic. I mean, they're going to go after the big fish, but make sure that they're following the rules of the road, which in our world is compliance. With the blues, they will build with parties and make and takes. And I don't know about you, but I've been surveying a lot of people and those don't build businesses. It actually frustrates a lot of people and they go broke. So what you need to do is show a blue how they can still have fun, but they gotta teach the Premium Starter Kit, the PSK, in those events. So they gotta have fun and education all woven in. They can also have classes, but with fun games. So they can do oily bingo. They can have fun contests online as they're educating, because they're only going to build if it's fun, but they got to realize if they're just having fun, they're not going to build. They got to do both at the same time. So don't let your blue builder give away the store and give away their entire commission check. You're probably just going to have to put them on a budget and say, you can spend 50% of your commission check. That's it. When you spend it, you're done. And then you're going to have to do just a straight up education class, which is like nails down the chalkboard for a blue. So you want to really rein them in and help them realize that they can do both at the same time. Now for greens will tend to want to build with research. They are heavy into the data and the research and going behind the scenes. In a way, this is kind of a no-no, because Young Living does not want us getting into the research, because there are actually laws involved when we talk about research. So Young Living just doesn't want us getting into the research. And that goes back to a couple of years ago when they cracked down on compliance. So what you can do with a green is help them understand that they can educate themselves all they want. But at the end of the day, they need to come up with a checklist to keep their classes very basic. So doing short online classes could actually be best for them. Short in-person classes can be best for them. But helping them have a checklist, finding a system where they can have a checklist and keep it really simple is going to help your green builder. For a yellow, yellows are going to be hesitant to get into group settings, which is interesting because yellows want a team. But initially, they may have a fear of public speaking, or they may think, if I have 10 or 20 people show up to a class, I'm not going to get to know everybody. That class is going to be 8 hours long by the time I'm done talking with everybody. So initially, what you can do to help your yellows is to co-teach with them. so that they can see how you can check in with people but also educate, or encourage them to do one-on-one meetups. That way they can connect with people, they can look them in the eye. Yellows are not going to do very well online because they're not going to feel that they have that personal relationship. So get them meeting with people in person. And then once they start building their team, encourage them to have team parties and start that tribal friendship that they really want. But what you need to do to make sure that they're growing is when they have a team party and they get people together, make sure that members bring someone new. Otherwise, yellows are not going to grow. All right, let's talk about conflict. I have no idea how much time has gone by. I'm having fun with this. Oh, Lord, okay. I'm sorry, guys. I really wanted to keep this to an hour, but it's not going to be. So I hope this is fascinating because I'm having fun. So when you're dealing with conflict in your team, I want to tell you how the colors view each other. So this is where team trouble can really bubble up. When you have strong color personalities, you can have strong clashes. And within each color, we can actually clash. Because if you are a typical or a true in your color, you are going to clash with the troublesome in your same color. So let's talk about reds. Reds view blues as happy-go-lucky, and they are squirrels. They get distracted, and we just want to say, oh my gosh, just get back on focus. Get to the point. So reds view blues as wanting to have fun rather than having goals and building a business. But the one thing that reds like about blues is we like the optimism and we like the positivity because they help reds be a little more fun. Reds view greens as too overly cautious. It's like, oh my gosh, just make a decision. But we like the logical thinking and we love to learn from greens. Reds view yellows as sweet, but just too unmotivated and a little too negative for true progress. So we feel like we're constantly beefing up their language and helping them with positive words. But at the same point, we really like the personal touch of the yellows. So we will send them out to comfort others in the team when a team needs a peacemaker, because for the reds, when there's problems, the reds just say, get over it and move on. So that's why we like the yellows. It's like, just go out and make everybody happy. Now let's look at it from the blue point of view. The blues view the reds as too uptight and that they need to live a little and loosen up and not schedule fun. But blues like reds because reds achieve goals. And that's why a blue likes a red. Blues view greens as too serious. They're too thought out. They have no room for spontaneity. They don't like the realism. They don't like the natural lack of flow. But blues like that greens know how to make something happen once a green figures out how to make it happen. And then blues view yellows as just too slow. They just can't make decisions, but they like the personal touch of the yellows. All right, let's talk about how greens view everybody. So greens view the reds as too bossy. They are just too bossy and telling us what to do, and they need to just stick their nose out of my business. They see the reds as making decisions too quickly, but they respect a red to lead the team. Greens view blues kind of as a love-hate relationship. They love the fun of the blues, but they do not want to get sucked into it because nothing's going to get done. And with the yellows, the greens view the yellows as somebody that they can control, but the yellows will be very supportive of them. So when they're struggling with something, a green can go to a yellow and the yellow will support them because yellows have loyalty. And so it makes a really good combination. And then how do the yellows view the other colors? The yellows view the reds with admiration because of the confidence that a red has. And when a red can take control, so long as it is in the yellow's best interest, that is a good fit. So yellows and reds work very well together because Yellows will go love on people in the team, and the reds will say, I will take care of this task. I got it whipped. You go love on everybody. I'll get this task done. And that's why yellows and reds get along very well. Now, yellows view the blues as unrealistic dreamers and frankly selfish. But both are creative when you put them together. You put a yellow and a blue together in a room and say, come up with a class or come up with a Live Your Passion rally. Oh my word, they're going to come up with some great ideas. Put them together so that the best traits come out. And then yellows view greens as too logical and not being comfortable with their feelings. But yellows love to learn from greens because greens give them more facts because they tend to be too feeling oriented. And sometimes yellows want a little bit of fact. And so they will go to a green to learn. Now, how can you handle conflict within your team? When you don't understand someone's color, but you understand their value, that master key, the what, the why, the how, you can respond better. So if you have a conflict in your team with a red, understand that reds are dominant. They get things done by sheer willpower. They want the upper hand in the moment. Reds know that this too shall pass. They actually don't hold grudges because that's negative energy. It's pessimistic. So they really let things go fast. But here's what you need to know about a red. You can't persuade a true red to change their position. So what you can do is explain your position and walk away. The reds will take it and they will deal with it. And they don't hold grudges. So just explain your position without trying to influence. And what you're doing is you're showing a red respect, you're acknowledging their position, and the conflict will quickly move away. Now with a blue, blues have a talk to the hand mentality because conflict isn't fun. They just want fun. So they're like, talk to the hand. I'm not interested in this. And if the conflict goes on too long, they will disengage. They won't respond to you or anything. So with blues, you need to resolve it quickly. With greens, greens will debate the issue to death. They just won't let it go because in their mind, it's their credibility that is on the line because they've researched it and they know, like they know, and you don't. If two greens get into a battle, you're going to have two animals locking horns. And so if a green takes a stand, they will debate it to the death. So don't try to change their mind. All you can do is just present your case and walk away and just let them mull it over. That's all you do. Let them mull it over. Don't debate it with them. Come from facts, not emotions. If you come at a green with emotion, they are just going to shake their head like, oh, you silly little person. You got to come at them with facts. Now with a yellow, yellows don't like conflict because they're all about relationships. So the best thing that you can do is to resolve it quickly, be straightforward with a soft touch. Tell them up front, I want a resolution. Let's resolve this quickly, and then there's not going to be any resentment. And that's the best way to really handle the conflicts within your team. Now, how can you handle rejection? For anybody who's building a business, we've all had people say no or just ignore us. Colors handle it differently. With a red, rejection is embarrassment. So we're just going to figure out how to avoid it from the get-go. And so we'll avoid certain people. Reds tend to prejudge people and say they wouldn't be interested, so I'm not even going to talk to them. So I just avoided the rejection. So yay, I win. So I'll tell you, that is something that I've really worked on. And now I don't prejudge people. But reds will prejudge and say, I'm just going to avoid the embarrassment. I'm not going to ask. So what you really have to do as a red is to just not prejudge. With blues, if they're rejected, that is a personal affront to them. Because blues are fun. They're charismatic. So their personality just got rejected. They are going to stew over it And it's going to take them a while to move on. So their feelings are going to get hurt. And so the best thing that you can do for a blue is to let them know that it really had nothing to do with your personality. You can still be friends with that person who rejected you. They're rejecting the product, or they're not ready to be well. They're really happy being unwell. It has nothing to do with you. That's the best way to handle that. With green, when they're rejected, it's a lack of trust in their knowledge, because greens are all about the research. And so that person is saying, well, I don't trust what you told me. And it's like, oh my gosh, you just rejected my education, my brain, and all the great knowledge that is in my big, beautiful brain. And so they will withdraw and then start to question and doubt their methodology. So they will put their nose back in the books to make sure that they were accurate. And so they are the slowest to overcome rejection, because they will get wrapped up into that loop of analysis paralysis. They will go back and they will recheck every statistic and every percentage and everything that they said. And so what you can do for a green is to reassure them, you know this, you know this, you know more than anybody. You know, that person just wasn't ready. And it's all about them not being ready. It has nothing to do with your knowledge. And with a yellow, the rejection is a personal injury. It's like the blues. It is a personal affront to them. They have a very hard time getting over it, because they feel like they've lost a friend. And it's important to acknowledge with them that the rejecting person is not who they're supposed to do business with. They can still be friends, but that person just isn't ready. They didn't reject them as a person. They just rejected the product. And so the whole part of handling rejection is to work harder to get to your true shade, because then you can really handle rejection and let it move out of you faster so that you can get back to the next person on your list. Now let's talk about pitfalls. Every color has a pitfall and things that hold us up in building our business. So with reds, and I swear when I read this, it's like, I think Jacob knows me. So with reds, if they don't rank up fast enough, because they really do compare themselves to other people, especially successful people. They don't compare themselves to the average Joe. But if they don't rank up fast enough, they will have squirrel problems. So they will hop to the next thing. They will give up on leaders too fast. They will give up on product users too fast. They will build too many legs at once. With them, once they learn a system, they'll go to the next system and the next system. They're rabid learners because they're looking for what is going to help them the fastest, because reds have rabid goals to get to the end. They are an all or nothing personality. And a red is the one that will walk away in a heartbeat and say, you know what, this doesn't work. I'm out of here. So the best thing that you can do for a red that is already starting to show those signs is to get them focused on one system and help them stick with people long enough and not give up, and to really help them stop comparing themselves to others. You get a red to compare themselves to themselves. So what I do is I go back a year and say, okay, right now it's December 2017. Where was I December 2016? And when I look at that, it's like, dang, Allie, you're a rock star. That's kind of awesome. That's what you got to do to a red. You pit them against themselves. Get them to stop focusing on other people. Because if I compare myself to Lindsay Moreno or Sarah Harnish, I will walk away, because it's like, well, I can't do that. I don't know how she got to diamond in 2.5 years. That's ridiculous. So you got to get them to stop comparing themselves to others. The blues, so you're all fun, you're making take social gatherings, Their pitfalls are that they're not putting lectures, straight up education into their work. They have fun, and no one knows that they are doing a Young Living business, which is why when they have events, nobody enrolls. Or maybe they're selling a bottle here and there. And then they get frustrated. Why am I not growing a business? And then if I do sign somebody up, why are they not buying? Why are they not in Essential Rewards? Well, it's because you brought in party people. And without the fun, your people are not going to do anything. And so your blue business builder, if they don't have fun, they're going to walk away. So just know that you need to connect them to actually have classes with education and get out there and connect with people who are not other blues, who are not looking to party and have fun. And if they do draw in other blue people, you have got to mix your fun event with education about the oils. Because blues are the ones that come to me the most and say, people have no idea that I'm doing a business. Like, they signed up with somebody else and I've been talking to them. And I'll say, well, did you tell them how to get the starter kit? Well, no, because we were having fun making roller balls. Well, you got to tell them. You got to tell them. So they're the ones that find that the people that they've talked to actually go and enroll with somebody else. So, you know, for leaders, it's painful. The blue leaders, it's very painful for them to sit down and learn a system, but you got to get them to sit down and learn a system if they're going to do this. So they got to mix fun and business together. Now for the greens, they are lost without a system. They're not going anywhere. They are frozen. They don't move because they do not know what system is going to work the best for them. But they're faithful and they won't give up because they got to prove themselves right. So give them a system, and it can be Sarah Harnish's game plan. It can be another system. But give them a system, let them implement it. It'll stop them from overthinking, and it'll help them to stop judging themselves and comparing themselves to others. You just got to get them into a system. Maybe it's the 4-year career. Maybe it's GoPro. Maybe it's game plan. Get them into a system and let them tear it apart and make it work for them. Now with the yellows, their pitfalls are that they get too distracted in serving and they're not going to build a business. They don't think that they need an income or a rank or a retreat or the gifts. And they get distracted by learning and giving back. And then next thing they know, they're like, well, I thought I'd be to senior star or executive or silver or beyond by now, but they're not, because they're not really building a business. So Young Living was actually helping them understand that Young Living was brought to them to serve, to bring Young Living to people who need help, to bring Young Living to pets who need help. So get them refocused that their business is going to do good things, that the money they earn is going to do good things, that the products they're teaching about will do good things, and that they can serve a lot of people and a lot of animals. And one thing that yellows will do is they will put limits on their business. Like, well, I really only need to get to silver and then I'll be happy. No, don't put a limit on what you want to do, because then you limited how you're going to serve the world. So I said before, when you get to platinum, you get to go work at the Young Living School in Ecuador for a day. If you just say, you know what, I just need to get to silver and I'll be okay, it'll pay my bills. Well, okay, then you're not going to Ecuador to help, because that could open up a whole new world for you. So, you know, get them refocused that money can do good. All right, let's talk about color leadership. We are nearing the end. I swear we are. So when you're dealing with leaders, you have to understand them before you can lead them. And when we look at a good leader, they're going to be in their true shade. They're not going to be troublesome, and they may be typical going into true or maybe flip-flopping back and forth, but you really want to help people get to their true color. For red, their leadership word is respect. They have high expectations of themselves and others. They assume leadership even though they haven't earned it. They have a laser focus on goals and success. And so what they need to do is balance that strength by being patient and having humility. With blue, their leadership word is response. So they should avoid the less fun, they're going to avoid the less fun parts of leadership. So they're going to avoid learning a system, having a to-do list, getting your 2 to 3 most important tasks done every day, the menial task of helping others understand the virtual office and how to sign up. You know, they want to use their charisma and their inspiration to pull people into the fun zone. And so they use fun for team accomplishments, but what they really need to do is listen more to others and help get themselves into a system. With the greens, their leadership word is research. They are thoughtful leaders. They're not going to get moved by hype or emotional excitement or jumping up and down or all that influence. But because they suffer from analysis paralysis, they can crush momentum of a team. They can just crush it. But at the same point, they are drama-killing machines. They will tolerate no drama in a team. Yellows, their leadership word is relationships. So they are the peacemakers, but they're slow decision makers. They're slow on momentum. They can use manipulation with emotions to gain power, but they are really good for giving a to-do list to and giving tasks to. So they thrive on helping. They need to learn more tough love, and they really want to be a part of the team. So they will take guidance if you let them be a part of the team. Let's talk about what motivates us. So what makes us hustle? So with reds are motivated by titles, ranks, money, awards, recognition, respect. They are the ones that want to walk across that diamond stage. That's what they want. They want that because they earned it. They hustled. People who use in any business, who use the word hustle, those are the reds. Because we're going for it. We're hustling. The blues are motivated by fun. They feel accomplished in reaching a higher frequency in their work. So they live to have praise and positive energy and social standing. They love Live Your Passion rallies. Put them on board with that and let them organize them. They also love spa days. So they're taking their motivation to a level of fun. Greens are motivated by resources and responsibility. They want to find answers. They want hold on a minute, I got my cat crying in the background. Lucy is talking to me through the door. Sorry about that. So greens, they want third-party resources. So another way that you can help motivate them is give them those resources. Give them a task to lead something, to head up, hey, I need help in putting together this presentation. I need some background info. Can you help them with it? Call on them as the expert in the team. Give them that recognition. And then yellows are motivated by pampering and quality time with their team, but especially with their team leader. So you can motivate them by having one-on-one time. They are also motivated by helping someone, by supporting a charity, team parties. So when you're thinking about incentives, these are the things you should be thinking of. With reds, give them recognition. With blues, give them something fun if they accomplish something. With greens, recognize them as an expert for resolving an issue. And for yellows, have that one-on-one time with them. Oh, so Lucy's color, so Lucy's a red. Yes, thank you for that question. Lucy is definitely a red. All right, now I want to go into what oils we should use by color. This is not from Jacob Adamo. This is from me. And these are the oils that I feel, and I'd love your comments. And I didn't put all of them in here, but I love the blends. And these are what I think can really help you get to your true color. And if you feel like you need to take on more of another color, you could try these. So with red, it's abundance, it's friends, it's we need more fun. Reds need more fun. You ought to be using that. Gathering, we need to gather people around us. We need to have more gratitude like the yellows do. We need more humility like the yellows do. We want to magnify our purpose. Ula field, Ula finance, bring it on. Those are our two Ula oils. And then transformation. We want to transform to the next rank, the next level, the next achievement. With blues, help them build a dream. Help them get to their highest potential. Help them balance the fun with actually building a business. So give them those building the business blends. With green, you got to get them out of analysis paralysis, give them clarity. Give them common sense. Give them inner child so that they can feel a little lighter, a little more blue. Live with passion or live with passion blends, those are good because greens are too analytical. They might need a little emotion in there. And Ula Grow is really good for greens. And then for yellow, they just need to know that they can do this. They're huge parts of this business. So give them believe, give them envision, inspiration, light the fire, motivation. Ula faith, Ula friends, and even valor. These are the oils that can really help you with these colors. Now, what's your secondary color? Post that in the chat. I'd love to know this because your primary color is proactive. This is where your conscious decision making is coming from. This is your growth color. This is your going for it, your to-do color. Whereas your secondary color is reactive. And it usually rears up during emotional upheaval. It's the stress color, it's the personality color, and the comfort color that comes out when things go wrong. So, for example, I'm high red, high blue, and so when I don't achieve a rank, I have got to go do something fun. Or when I do not achieve a goal, I have got to go do something fun to get myself out of that cycle. Michelle actually challenged me to a fun, you didn't even know my colors, to a fun challenge because I was stuck. And I was so close to silver. And when I did my fun challenge, I made silver. And so your secondary color can actually help you with the troublesome part of your primary color. So if you are in your true primary color, your brain will trigger the secondary color to bring emotional balance to a situation. So if I'm in true red, but I need more fun, that secondary color is going to bring emotional balance to me. But here's the thing. Are you going to use this as a clutch or a crutch? So are you going to use your secondary color as a clutch to shift gears and go faster to the next level, or as a crutch to lean on when you're weak? So when our primary color isn't true, we will shift to our secondary color for projection and to problem solve. So when we're not living in our true color, we will be pushed into behaviors that don't feel right. For example, a blue, a fun-loving blue, trying to live as an organized checklist green. That doesn't feel right. All right, we're almost done. This is totally speculation on my part. I polled several people. And I have followed a lot of diamonds, and I am guessing what their primary colors of. I could be totally wrong, but this is how I see them. So if you really want to learn from somebody who is your color, or you want to learn from somebody who's a color that you feel you need a little bit more of, here's who I feel. And I could be wrong. You guys can say, Allie, you're totally off. This is how I view them when I learn from them. So for reds, The diamonds that I feel are reds are Yvonne Litza, Madison Vining, Lindsay Moreno, Kara Cozier, Lindsay Gramont, Sarah Harnish, Shannon Hudson, and Jen O'Sullivan. For the blues, I feel that Kari Lewis is a blue, Monique McLean, Melissa Pepping, even Lindsay Gramont, I think, has a little bit of blue in her. Stephanie Moram, Alana Bookhout, and Vanessa Romero. Vanessa Romero, hands down, is blue, 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 blue. For greens, Sherry Ross, Brenda Schuler, Kara Cozier, and even though Lindsay Elmore, who's the pharmacist, is not a diamond, she is green. If you need to learn green, the science behind the oils, follow Lindsay. So I had to throw her in there. And then for yellows, Sherry LaMarche, Callie Shepard, even Sherry Ross, I think has a lot of yellow. Myra Yarborough, yellow. Stephanie Moram, yellow. Christy Collins actually says she's an introvert. And instead of, this is so cute, instead of actually having a booth at a vendor event, she will just go to a vendor event and hand out her cards. So she's a yellow. Becky Webb, Alana Bookhout is a yellow. So you could follow the color that you are the most of, or you could follow another color to try to complete that in you. And then we're at the end. Here are business resources, books, and training by color. So for reds, Get Noticed by Lindsay Moreno, Game Plan by Sarah Harnish, Go Pro by Eric Worre. Anything John Maxwell, leadership training. That's what John Maxwell does. Tom Challen, he's got a very red system. The book, Get Over Your Damn Self by Ronnie Neustadt. The Big Leap, Lindsay Moreno's Unconvention, and then Richard Bliss Brooks' Mach 2. Those are good red books and training programs. For blue, go ULA. ULA all the way. Even Mach 2, I think, is a really good blue book. Do-it-yourself books are good. The Energy Bus by John, I'm totally drawing a blank on his last name. The Energy Bus, I think, is a good blue book. It's all about who to have on your bus. For Your Career, that's a blue book. Everything that Monique McLean does, blue, blue, blue. For green, Game Plan by Sarah Harnish. Her book, her boot camp, it's red, but it is green. That is a system that greens love. She's got checklists and everything. Essential Oil Desk References, green. Kurt Schnabel is an amazing author, and his books are for greens. Dr. David Stewart, Lindsay Elmore, the pharmacist. The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is great. Dr. Ali's Oil Summit. Oh, I left out the word Ali. Dr. Oliver Wenker, his Oil Summit is fantastic. The Chemistry of Oils. Danny Johnson, Jen O'Sullivan, she has a Facebook page called Human Body and Essential Oils. That's all green. And then for yellows, the book, Get Over Your Damn Self. Don't be offended by the title. It is an awesome book. It appeals to reds. It appeals to yellows. The ULA books also appeal to yellows. Big Al Schreiter, his books, he's got a lot of scripts. Those appeal to yellows. Aromatherapy for Healing the Spirit. That's an awesome book for yellows. The Big Leap is great for yellows. Motivation Manifesto by Brandon Burchard. That is a great book. And The Book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. That is a great yellow. It's also a great red book. I should have put it in red. All right. Okay. How long did that take? How long did that? Oh, my word. Okay. Wow. An hour and 20 minutes. So 20 minutes longer than I wanted to, but this is what a red does. When I got your attention, I'm going to give you everything. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and type them in the chat. And hey, everybody. If anybody has a question, type it in the chat and I can unmute your phone. Or maybe I won't unmute the phone because that'll complicate things. Sorry about that. All right, so questions. So we should consider getting to our true color. Yes, Dale. The goal is to get to your true color because then you are the best of yourself. You are the best of your personality. You're embracing it. Don't try to switch personalities. It's not going to work. It's not. So if you're a blue, get to true blue. If you're a yellow, get to true yellow. Can I post the book list? It went too fast. Yes, here, I'm going to put it back up on the screen if you want to take a screenshot. I don't really have a place to post it. I mean, Sarah, I can post it on our team page, but there's people on this webinar that are not on the team page. So I'm going to keep that up. If you guys want to take a screenshot of it, please do. So Dale says that's the balance within the color. Yes, to get to true, you are balanced. You are the best of that personality. So embrace your primary color. Embrace it. But understand your secondary color, that's what you're going to default to under stress. Okay? Tammy, will we have access to this presentation after today? Yes, everybody who registered is going to get the recording. So yes, Tammy, you will get that. A true color is the balance place then. Yes, Dale, balanced is not the right word. Balance doesn't necessarily mean true. So you just want to get to the best part of yourself. Because balance means that you're balancing the good and the bad. You want to get to the good. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, any other questions? You guys are asking great questions. All right, any other questions? I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, but I'm going to keep us going if you have questions. So for those on the recording, thank you for joining in.